We're gonna deep dive into that, but you did mention something in there that we definitely gotta address. I think we want to. I mentioned it in the pre-production that we want to talk about as far as like just fans and hip hop, and you kind of mentioned hip hop podcasts as well. And I feel like the greater picture there is, I guess, hip hop debate, right? Something that I feel
Mm-hmm.
like me and you come from. Like the one thing we do kind of have in common is we grew up we seen hip hop grow with the internet. You know, the internet, we
Right.
see how hip hop has evolved through internet years. Like you see hip hop in a much younger age than I have, but like we both witnessed it through the internet. And like we've seen how it was one point fun to be online chat rooms or having debates in whatever format through just talking about hip hop and lists or whatever bullshit. And I feel like that conversation, at least for me, especially being podcast now for almost 2 years, those conversations, those debates have become kind of stale in many ways.
Yeah, still, that's a good word for it. It's a safe word because I want to say corny, lame. I think these niggas is dorks, man.
Yeah,
Like
man.
just to keep it just to keep it a stack with you. I feel like first and foremost, I'm never gonna be the person just because I know I come off like a grumpy old man a lot of the times. But I'm never gonna be opposed to hip hop debate. As long as hip hop, it's gonna be debated. It was built on competition, so everybody's gonna have their favorites and all of that shit. But now it's gotten to it almost feel manufactured. All of
Mm.
these things, and now it feels like ever since Joe and them created this lane, and there's so many podcasts, most of us dive into the hip hop podcaster lane because most of us love hip hop, and I feel like the hip hop podcast is like the mixtape was in 2007. So now I feel like people are forcing conversations, and there's a criteria now online. And to be honest, it's too nerdy. Like I love a good rap nerd conversation, but now
Yeah.
I feel like the nerds is having the conversations, and the shit done became the mathletes. Everybody want to talk about numbers, and everybody want to talk about projections. And is the music good? Do you like it or do you not? Now it's all it's predicted to sell 117,000 gigawatts next week and all of this nerdy shit. And it's like, bro,
I,
y'all missing the
it
whole
kind of
essence of what hip hop was with that.
it kind of reminds me of like remember when like the NBA started doing like plus minuses and shit like that, and like people got real analytical about.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's totally it's too analytical. It's like,
Yeah,
bro, this is hip hop. This ain't
yeah,
the fucking great debaters or the mathletes, man. This shit nerdy as hell to me, and I'm
yeah.
disgusted with it at this point.
So like let's differentiate between like the conversation we're talking about as far as people discussing numbers and like the conversation we're seeing develop now between like the Royces, the Mickey Hart, the Mickey Facts, the Lupe Fiascos, and the Ransoms. Like these people are having debates now as lyricists, and I feel like that's the debates I kind of think me and you want to see it more of.
I love that. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. That made the few days of them going back and forth on Instagram and Twitter. I don't
Yeah.
think I've paid attention to social media that much, and I can't remember. But first
Mhm.
and foremost, I got to give Mickey Facts his flowers. I love Mickey, and I feel like of
Absolutely.
all these people that we're talking about, because lately Ransom, as of the last year, Ransom been getting a lot of flowers, and I
Yeah.
don't feel like Mickey get the flowers he deserved,
At
honestly.
all.
But I'm enjoying that, and I really want to see if King Los wasn't going to battle Daylight next week. I feel like he would have been in that conversation more too.
See, now this is where I think you would start getting mad at me as a hip hop fan. Like some like I love Mickey Facts. I love Ransom. I love Lupe Royce. Like, I don't want to put King Los in that bubble. Like as a lyricist, yeah. As a lyricist, absolutely. But like as far as those four have provided is beyond just lyricism. I feel like they provided like a discographies that are just pretty strong and formidable. No.
What you mean?
Like King Los is an amazing spitter. Like I never, for me, I could be wrong here. I just don't be hearing King Los music and be amazed by it. I'm
Nigga,
amazed by his
that
pen.
King Los actually hasn't recorded a lot of music
Right.
or he hasn't put a lot of music out. Los, he had a project. I think it was called War. Came out like 2012 or something. It was called. It's a dollar. It's like it almost looked like Royce's Allegory cover. God, Money, War. That's what it's called.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's a solid project, and I don't know if you've been paying attention to what he did this year on the Lemon Pepper and all of them different. He put out a little EP, but I think it's on YouTube. I don't know if it's on streaming. But
you put him in your alien list of your superior like lyricists. You put him in that bunch.
Oh yes. And I'm not even a big fan of King Los the person. Like I don't know, because I just see it. I remember when Clubhouse first popped off, we had some interactions because that's when everybody was in the beginning of Clubhouse. It was just more conversational, I feel like, before it got clicky. And I always thought they arguing with people or getting extremely emotional about certain things. And I ain't saying nothing wrong with it, but it just was like, bro, like, don't let these people get to you so much. So sometimes he just come off a little bit too standoffish as a person for me. But as far as rapping ability, very alien-like. King Los I just don't think he puts out enough product for people to know that.
So how many legitimate, quote unquote, like aliens or supreme lyricists do you think that from the years you've seen, the ones who have notoriety? Of course, there's some who we don't really see much of, like the Moral Technique to the World or the Brother Ali Murs of the world. But like the ones that we see in spotlight now still, and the ones we see active now still, and the ones that we truly are like a world renowned. How many do you think there are for real?
Aliens?
Yeah.
I think there are a lot. I think there are a lot more aliens than there are mainstream rappers. But what does it mean when there isn't any balance as far as when we push to the mainstream, I guess?
And that's why I kind of I still do like lists of my personal, like just for me type of thing, but I quit the list thing because it just sparks an argument with people who don't know music or don't understand like different criteria, and like, all right, what's the point of this? What's the point of this conversation? Like it's useless. I feel that goes back to what you were talking about earlier. It's the useless conversation. Like it's never going to have a result. There's no resolution to it. There's going to be people, ongoing, just baffling.
That's why I stopped having debates with people about just hip hop debates in general, because I feel like first and foremost, it's all subjective and it's all opinion. Opinions is like yesterday's. Everybody got one. Not everybody has a tomorrow. So it's like, 100%. I'll stick with the tomorrow crowd. I feel like I'm an alien-like thinker in a lot of ways. So ain't no point in me having a conversation with people that inject their fandom into every, because you can't really have these discussions without having personal preference anyway. We prefer lyrical hip hop over whatever mainstream is right now. But people are I'm more of a fan of craft than I am of any particular person. So I'm not gonna have a conversation with a person when I know they don't know what it takes to get in there. Most people just like what they like and they hear stuff different. Like they hear stuff the way they want to hear it. I hear shit like creative process. When I hear songs, I hear creative process. So when I'm having a conversation with somebody about hip hop, we having two different debates because they don't think about it like that. They just want to consume. They consume it. That's all they want to do. So it's kind of, I'm not gonna say it's pointless because they're still fun. Like if it's fun, that's one, because hip hop debates are supposed to be fun. When it becomes, I feel like when the analytics come into it, it ain't fun no more.
For real, that's true. And I feel like there is music that I just consume, or this music I'm not ever gonna really deep dive into as far as the creative process, appreciating like the little thing. Cause certain shit, it's just like it's really just background music. There's certain, especially the subgenres of hip hop, the newer subgenres. I can rock with a lot of it as far as just listening to it aesthetically. But when I listen to the words for real or deep dive into what they're doing, like, this ain't really doing shit. Like, they really ain't saying nothing. They're not talking about nothing.
It's music for every occasion, man. And that should exist as long as hip hop exists, because I don't want to hear rapidy rap all the time either. So
yeah.
But at the end of the day though, I was just going on a Twitter rant about this week though. I'm not gonna lie. First and foremost, I'm over us being safe as hell with our takes, because I feel like everybody got an audience now. The bar is lower in music today, not just in hip hop. In music, for the most part, the bar is lower across the board than what it was a while ago. And I don't want to be the back in my day person, but a spade is a spade, man. If the bar lower, the bar lower. You got more. Anybody can upload a SoundCloud link today, and if 10,000 people like it, they got a fan base and they off to the races now. So back in the day, there was and I like that. It's pros and cons to everything. I like that, but at the same time, the bar is lower. So it's not just the me being stuck in my time thing. The bar is lower today, and nowadays everybody's safe with the takes because they got a fan base. Well, somebody like it, so that must not mean it's whack. No, it can still be whack with a bunch of people liking it. If that was the case, one hit wonders wouldn't fucking exist.
But I mean, do they exist still?
I don't know. I don't think any of that. I'm just saying in general.
No more.
In general. But my point is, there was whack shit in every single era. When it was whack shit in our era, whether it sold a bunch of records or not, we still said it was whack. Now everybody's scared to say shit like that because everybody can say, well, it's not for me, and everybody want to be safe and dance around. No, shit whack. If you feel like it's whack, say it's whack.
And I agree with that sentiment, but at the same time, like, I do the whole it's not good for me shit, because I'm not trying to have a debate. Because like for me, like I'm sure for you as well, people tend to come to you with a hip hop debate. People will bring a hip hop debate to your footsteps, and like no one you're gonna disagree with it. Like just they know it. They know you're gonna disagree with what they're gonna say. Like, why would you bring this to me? Like you want me to argue with you? I'm not trying to argue with you. So
that's why I don't let people just make me in the argument, because it's like you know how I'm gonna respond to it. Like, but that's my thing. I'm not saying, because some shit just ain't for you. I gotta, like, for example, I was listening to Larry June last night, and I'm like, this shit dope, but it ain't for me.
I understand that 100%.
Like, this shit, like, so sometimes shit just don't be for you. That's cool, but now that's the safe thing to say. So now, I feel like I was ranting about all this shit because I just felt like now everybody all this shit feel cliche to me now.
Everything is cliche. Everything is cliche. And that's why I think we were talking about we're talking about the podcasting earlier. And to me, hip hop content in a whole is just, we've reached this like recycling area where everything just the same shit. Like, and no disrespect to Complex, but like when Complex
fuck Complex.
Facts. When they was doing Everyday Struggle back in the day, it was like, oh, this is dope. And of course they ruined that. And now they have this shit brackets, which could be dope, but
fuck B-Dot too. Like real talk.
Yo, some of my
he feel free to say what he want.
Some of his commentary, bro, like, what are you talking about?
Most of it's corny. And it's like, who appointed you? I get it. He has a lot of cachet in the culture. There's a lot of cachet in the culture. But who appointed you? Like people like him, Charlemagne.
I look at B-Dot the way I look at the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver. Like, you was just David Stern's man. You was Elliot Wilson's man.
Yeah, but even then, people like him, Charlemagne, Envy, all these people that are like gatekeepers in the industry, they inject their personal biases on what they